Sister wives Mykelti worried a Patreon video might cancel the show. What if one video, one emotional confession, could end a reality TV empire that has lasted over a decade? That's exactly what fans began wondering when Mykelti Brown admitted that her Patreon episode discussing alleged abuse involving Mary Brown might end the entire show. For years, viewers have watched the complicated dynamics between Cody Brown, his wives, and their children unfold on TLC. We've seen marriages fall apart. We've seen spiritual bonds dissolve. We've watched Christine leave, Yanel separate, Mary drift away. But this was different. This wasn't relationship drama. This was an allegation that struck at the core of the family's history and potentially the network's liability. So today, we're diving deep. Before we get into the controversy, we need context. Sister Wives premiered in 2010 on TLC, following Cody Brown and his 4 wives: Mary Brown, Yanel Brown, Christine Brown, Robin Brown. For years, the show centered around plural marriage, a controversial but consensual lifestyle within fundamentalist Mormon culture. At its peak, the series wasn't just about polygamy. It was about family unity, shared parenting, and navigating the modern world as a non-traditional household. But over time, cracks formed. Christine left. Yanel separated. Mary became emotionally isolated. And Cody's relationship with Robin appeared to dominate everything. The children, once background figures, grew up. And as adults, they began telling their own stories. That's where Mykelti comes in. Mykelti is Christine Brown's daughter and one of the more outspoken adult children in the family. Unlike some of her siblings, she has remained publicly engaged with the show's fanbase. Through Patreon and social media, she gives behind-the-scenes commentary and personal reflections. She's married to Tony Padrone and has children of her own. But unlike her mother, Christine, who has carefully navigated public disclosures, Mykelti has sometimes spoken more bluntly. And that bluntness may have crossed a line. In a Patreon episode, Mykelti discussed her past experiences growing up in the Brown family. During the discussion, she reportedly referenced alleged emotional and verbal abuse involving Mary Brown. Now, to be clear, these claims were not presented as legal accusations in a court setting. They were personal recollections. But even so, they were explosive. Because here's the issue. If a long-running reality show features a central cast member who is later accused of abusive behavior toward children, and the network either knew or should have known, that opens up enormous ethical and legal questions. According to Mykelti, members of her family were worried that this episode could end the entire show. Why? Let's unpack it. Reality television walks a fine line. Networks like TLC rely on compelling drama, relatable family narratives, and audience trust. If viewers begin to believe that abuse was occurring behind the scenes, especially involving minors, the entire premise changes. The show is no longer about plural marriage struggles. It becomes about trauma. And that shift is dangerous for a long-running franchise. There are several major risks. Keycap 1. Public backlash. Audiences today are far less tolerant of networks appearing to protect problematic cast members. Keycap 2. Legal implications. If allegations involve minors and production crews were present, questions arise. Did anyone report concerns? Was anything documented? Did the network fail in a duty of care? Keycap 3. Brand reputation. TLC has already faced criticism over the years for controversial programming. Another scandal could push advertisers away. From a business standpoint, it's understandable why family members feared fallout. According to Mykelti, relatives worried her comments would destroy not just the show, but their income. Remember, for many of the Browns, this series has been a primary financial source for over a decade. If the show is cancelled, contracts disappear, public platforms shrink, revenue from exposure declines, and for a family already fractured, financial stress adds another layer of tension. What's particularly interesting is how this controversy reflects broader fractures in the family. Christine has largely moved on. Yanel is independent. Mary has separated from Cody. Robin remains legally married. The unity that once defined the show no longer exists. So if the show survives, what exactly is it documenting? Here's the bigger question. Is Mykelti trying to hold someone accountable? Or is this part of a broader shift where the adult children are reclaiming their narratives? Reality TV families often face a reckoning when children grow up. They reflect differently, process trauma differently, and speak without production oversight. Mykelti monetizing her commentary through Patreon adds complexity. Critics argue, is this storytelling? Or is it content strategy? Supporters argue. She deserves autonomy. She has a right to tell her truth. And both perspectives can exist at once. Let's be honest. The show's original premise, one man, four wives, unified family, no longer exists. What remains is fallout, breakups, resentment, individual healing journeys. That may be compelling television for now. But without the plural marriage dynamic, how long can the series continue? If major controversies start overshadowing the narrative, TLC might decide the risk outweighs the reward. But historically, controversy often boosts ratings, at least temporarily. So ironically, the very video that could cancel the show might also spike interest. Several possible outcomes. Keycap 1 TLC addresses it directly on air. Keycap 2 the network distances itself from certain cast members. Keycap 3 the show pivots fully into post-polygamy life. Keycap 4 or, eventually, it quietly ends. The Browns are no longer one cohesive unit. They are individual brands now. And Mykelti's fear that one Patreon episode could collapse everything reveals something deeper. The foundation was already fragile. The heart of this story isn't just scandal. It's transformation. The children who once smiled in the background are now adults with voices. And sometimes, those voices disrupt carefully edited narratives. Whether Sister Wives survives this controversy or not, one thing is certain. The era of silent children in reality TV families is over. Mykelti's worry may have been about cancellation. But what it really exposed was the tension between truth and television. And in today's world, truth always finds its way out. When Mykelti Brown admitted she worried her Patreon video might end the entire show, fans immediately split into two camps. On one side, finally, someone is telling the truth. On the other, she's risking everyone's livelihood. And at the center of it all, the legacy of Sister Wives and the reputation of Mary Brown. Because once allegations of emotional or verbal mistreatment enter the conversation, they don't quietly disappear. They reshape everything. The reaction online has been intense. Supporters of Mykelti say, she has every right to speak about her childhood. Reality TV often hides darker dynamics. Adult children deserve autonomy over their narratives. Many pointed out that over the years, Mary's personality on the show was often portrayed as strict, emotionally intense, and sometimes isolated from the rest of the family. For some viewers, Mykelti's comments didn't feel shocking. They felt like confirmation. Large Red Circle critics argue. Patreon is a paid platform, meaning this content is monetized. Publicly discussing alleged abuse.